Spectacular achievement is always preceded by spectacular preparation. And with the CRC Sevens tournament steadily approaching, preparation is key. Just ask Magnus Christensen, team manager of the Temple Owls. Magnus will add that spectacular preparation is always preceded by spectacular foresight, and that sometimes foresight can be your only sight.
The team comes before everything in his mind, and I think that's one of the reasons why everyone respects him.
He loves the game of rugby, and he also loves trees, and he was looking for a way that he could combine the two passions in his life.
But this unsung hero didn't always have his sights set on being team manager. In fact, his plans were once quite different. Magnus came from a loving home, and as a child, he loved working with his father on his carpentry. But even more so, Magnus loved to play sports. He would go on to play his favorite two, baseball and rugby, all throughout college. And although he lettered 4 years in both sports, Magnus' heart was captured by rugby.
He excelled in rugby and baseball, but rugby was his real love, his real joy.
I believe people would say, or do say, that he was the best rugby player that America has ever produced.
Because of his build, the fact that he was, built like a prop, a big, powerful man, but could run like a gazelle.
I've never seen him play, but these stories about him on the field are just endless.
His major was dendrology, which was the study of trees, and I think the dendrology school nowadays would be called something like forest management. His major was very relevant then, and being a lumberjack was, in those days, a very important, prestigious job.
And he was so skilled at timber management that he even outperformed many of his professors.
He could have had a wonderful career as a lumberjack, even if for some reason sports did not work out. But he was a wonderful teammate. He worked really hard to make sure that he helped everyone else play better.
Christensen made his presence known, and by his senior year, he was the most highly scouted player in the United States.
He was eventually considered very seriously playing in Europe.
There were teams in France, Wales, England, all after him.
Cardiff Blues, the Scarlets, the Ospreys.
He played for Marfu several times, for EPRU, even captained both those teams. He was an All-American for 4 years.
He could tell where everybody was, he knew where they were supposed to be, and he just had absolutely amazing vision.
But in the spring of his senior year, just a week before signing with the Cardiff Blues, that vision was destroyed.
His first love was rugby, but he also loved baseball as well.
And he was a wonderful catcher, and I was a pitcher. And I had really a good fastball in those days. We were playing for the Mid-Atlantic Conference Championship.
And that's, of course, when Cornelius threw that fateful ball.
Batter didn't swing, and Magnus, put up his glove to catch it. And the catcher's mitts in those days were very flimsy, and it just went right through the web, and hit him literally between the eyes.
Magnus lost 70% of his eyesight, along with any chance of ever playing rugby again.
And that ended all three of his careers. I mean, nobody wanted a blind lumberjack or rugby player or baseball player.
With rugby out of sight and no career to fall back on, Magnus stuck close to the thing he knew best, his team.
He started doing little tasks for the rugby team and became eventually a full-time paid manager for the Temple Rugby team.
All these things, he's got these, really kind of quirky, weird ways of going about doing it. He lines the fields, cuts the grass, he washes the jerseys, he builds the goalposts.
Being around and involved in rugby, even if he couldn't play, was wonderful for him.
If you see him now, he won't talk about it. He would rather show what he can do rather than talk about what he can do.
I mean, his techniques are rather bizarre and unique, but they really get the job done.
Magnus is a man of great dedication. Through trial and tribulation, he has devoted himself to making sure his team is prepared. And as the CRC 7s near, the Temple Owls can rest assured that on June 2nd, they will be ready.